What's up, good people? I'm Vincent Powell, and I'm here to talk to the creative, their allies, and their adjacents about how, while people may think that our lives and our minds think in black and white and in straight lines, in actuality, it's a series of ziggly-zags and wiggly-wags, and it's colorful, and it's jumbo, and it's small, all at the same time. And sometimes we get into our heads so much that we're in the woods and we can't find our way out. And I'm here as intermediary to deal with the creative and those that hire or love and live with creatives. What's up? Now, I know you're asking, what in the world are you in? What kind of forest are you in? What kind of jungle are you in? I'm on the set of my brand new series starting today called Vincent Powell's Black is Eternal, proudly presented by His Story Grooming Company. It's a series that I'll tell you more about in a second. But first, I want to just say thank you to those of you that tune in week after week. Make sure if you get anything of value out of this, you like, share, subscribe, or comment, and let me know and others know, hey, there's something that's being tapped in here that nobody else is really touching, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to sit and listen to Vincent talk me through it instead of, the other person I get on the phone with that just makes me feel even dumber and dumber, right? I want to talk today for a moment about vision. And more than vision, I want to talk about execution. So, like I said, I'm on the set of Black is Eternal, and it's an idea that came to me like 3 years ago. I wrote it down as a note in my phone, and I told my wife, yo, I want to do this thing that's a monologue series, but I don't know how or when. And then I started thinking about actors I knew and influential people I knew, and I'm like, okay, here's who, here's how, here's when, here's where. And it was supposed to be in LA with a bunch of my friends in LA, a bunch of my colleagues, and then the pandemic. I wrote this like 2.5 years ago. We get to Houston, and literally the Wednesday after, well, it was like January 19th or 20th. It was lining up with the inauguration or whatever. And I was like, it's still January. I should do that thing where I want to do a monologue marathon for Black History Month. And I want to take words that were written before modern times. And when I say modern, I mean like 2016 on, right? That are still applicable right now, primarily residing in works by writers in the Harlem Renaissance, like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston and all those types of thought leaders who were Black and strong and far forward thinking by saying, if I could write this down and publish it, somebody else will be able to read it years from now. And the one that jumps out to me is Claude McKay's If We Must Die. Written in 1919, he's saying, if we must die, let it not be like hogs. Don't kill us like an animal. Don't die like an animal. Die like a man. And I'm thinking to myself, yo, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, name after name that was murdered and had their life taken from them, like an animal hunted. And I'm like, yo, he wrote that in 1919, 102 years ago, and it still means something right now. Without changing the words, without a new translation, without a teacher saying, oh, read the Cliff's Note version of it because that would help. No, it's written in plain English, and it's like, dang, it's still true. So I got on the phone. Well, first I talked to my wife, and I was like, hey, am I crazy? And she's like, I mean, we've got like literally 10 days to pull this off. And then I got on the phone with one friend who was my casting director and production coordinator, Oni Muhammad. And I was like, hey, Oni, I need actors. I don't have time for auditions. She was like, cool, when do you want to do it? I was like, I want to do a Zoom call. I want to do Monday night, I want to do Tuesday night. I want anybody that's interested to come. I want to pitch it to them, tell them I don't have money to pay them, tell them all I've got is vision and an idea to execute, and I'll make some really beautiful footage for them to have in their reel, and they'll be able to contribute something to society that means something and matters beyond a $125 check, right? Then after I got on the phone with her, I called my boy Anthony Hall, the co-owner of Vegan Bay Studios here in Houston, and I said, hey, Anthony, I need the studio, bro. I need to build a set, and I can't really explain it to you. It's like a series of monologues, talking heads. He's like, bro, stop, it's done. I'll clear the schedule. It's available to you. I'm like, hey, send the invoice over. And here's the thing, what I realized is the difference with paying for the space and the equipment and the gear is I could have shot this in my garage, right? And paid nobody, and it would have felt okay, but like it was shot in a garage. But I realized that if my resources were limited, I need to put the money where it mattered. So I partnered with my good friend, my brother, Rotimi Nagel, and his company, His Story Grooming Company, and he came on as a title sponsor. And I was like, okay, cool. I have limited resources, but I have more than I thought I did at the jump. And I was like, cool, we can get, a second camera, we can get a Dana Dolly, we can get an HMI, we can get an 8x grid, we can put a quarter diffusion in it. Now we can build a little set, we can get extra, COB light like a VL300, we can get a lantern, we can get another tripod, and all those things that start to matter. It's like, oh, I can get on Amazon and spend, $2,200, and I can go to the rental houses and spend almost, what was it, babe? Like almost $2,000, and I can go shopping at a store that has not paid me to say their name and get stuff like this. And I want to say thanks to another friend of mine, Christian Allen, who is a phenomenal art director, production designer, stylist, and interior designer. He's worked with all the stars, and he's local as an artist in resident and chief creative designer at Vegan Based Studios in Houston. And I was just talking to him about a really crazy situation that I'm dealing with. And then I told him about this, and he's like, oh, bro, what you want to do for that is easy. I showed him reference frames. I told him about my vision, and he's like, bro, I'm there. You go buy the stuff. I'll meet you at the studio at 9:30 on the night before you shoot, and we can get it together. He had 3 other installments to do that day. He came, I met him. I'm like, what you need me to do with this hot glue gun? What you need? But him and I working together to build this out. I built the grid. And I'm not saying that to say like, oh, look at me, the director that does all this stuff by himself. I'm saying that I told people I had a vision, and I had to take the ownership because I could not pay people for all their time. So I said, let me do as much legwork within my resources so that when people get to set, we're working. It's time to shoot. We're putting stuff together that's already been prepped. I stayed up here for like 6 hours by myself. Let's just prep this thing. Let's get it ready. And because of my ability to convey vision, that Zoom call, a few text messages, a few phone calls, we were able to execute my first personal passion project since 2016, when I did a short film called Someone Like You. Since then, every single thing that's crossed in front of my lens outside of my YouTube channel has been, or my wife's YouTube channel, has been either a class assignment when I was a student at USC, or for a client or a organization that I work with or for, or am hired out by. Man, it felt so good to have friends give me their time, cancel their days, go to work, come back, load in with me, start shooting with me, get stuff loaded in. Okay, I gotta go to work for a few hours, I'll be back. Oh, I'm off on Monday, I'll come hang with you. Oh, yeah, like that level of love, trust, and support is not just because people like hanging out with Vincent. It's a pandemic. Ain't no just leisure hanging out with people, right? This is, yo, Vincent, I can see what you're saying, and I'm down to touch the ship with you and build. And you don't get that by just being somebody with like beautiful words. You get that by doing that for other people. And I'm not talking about a series of favors that are paid back and forth. I'm talking about a synergy of energy that happens, and people know, oh, if I get around Vincent for a couple hours, ideas are gonna come, or ideas are going to confirm, or I'll run something by him and he'll, or I'll hear him say something. And I know that there are people that when I get around, ideas come. And I realized that basically a lot of my friends are what I like to call imagination midwives. They are there to help me birth ideas and dreams. And Black is Eternal is just one of those. It's just something that I just refuse to let stay an idea and a dream and execute it. Before I end the video, I want to talk for a second from a practical perspective about just this set really quickly. Here's what we did. I want to talk about the light setup, and then I want to talk about the actual production design. For those of you that are looking at ways of how to heighten experiences or photo shoots or whatever. So basically what we had was an area where we were actually shooting footage and video of the performances. And we'll get into details about how that was shot later. Got some great footage of that. And then after they shot that, each actor or crew member came over here and did a shoot in this setting that feels like a meadow brook, but there's cotton. It feels like recreational, relieving, and also resilient at the same time. When Christian was doing the installation, I was like, I've always had an awkward relationship with cotton. I'll wear it, but I don't like looking at it. But something about the way this is laid out just makes me feel proud. And I think it's because of what it's attached to. So for this, what we did was I did a gray backdrop from Savage and put it on a regular light stand, took the light stand up, and I'll have my boy Rotimi Nigel sit in for a second so I can show you the lighting setup. Yep, that's my brother. He's also my barber. He's also my son's barber, and I also had the privilege of facilitating he and his beautiful wife, my sister Jamie's wedding. And so we're not just friends, we're family. Anyway, that's that cute model there. He's taken. So behind him, we've got this hair light. Yep, that's just a 120D up on a C-stand. I've used the arm to articulate over the Savage backdrop, and you see how it's edging his head and his shoulders, a nice rim light. A lot of people like this setup. We took a lot of photos just like this because people love seeing the silhouette and how the light hit the cotton and also how it shows the body. Now, the next thing I added, and I want to shout Kevin Reyes out for this one, is a slash of light. That slash of light, you see it right there behind him? It helps separate the subject from the backdrop. Now you've got some hair light separating them, but then you've got the backdrop doing something else to further that separation and also not get so monotonous and get super boring because it's just gray, right? Finally, the key light. Boom. Y'all, this is a 3-light kit. It's a 3-point light setup, literally. It's an accent light, a hair light, and a key light. No fill, it's just what it is. And it's literally a 3 aperture 120D light kit. And it just happened to be laying around at Vegan Base Studios. And so I put it to work. And I thought that gave an element that I didn't originally think of. So yeah, so here we are. We went and bought a bunch of house decor stuff and Christian went to work on it and zoom it out, bro. And he built this out and we made something really special. And so basically every day this month, we'll be dropping a poem, a piece here on this channel, also on my socials. Follow it, share it. I don't really have an agenda. We might have some merch coming as well. But other than that, like, it's about Black stories and the fact that as different as all Black people are, we're not all the same. So for today's Tuesday Talk, I'm literally just talking to you from inside one of my dreams that a bunch of friends and talented people helped me birth. Follow me on Instagram, like, subscribe, comment, share, and come back next Tuesday. And every day this week, this month, it's gonna be incredible. You're gonna enjoy it because Black is not temporary. It's not a period. Black is eternal. I love you. God bless.